POV, it's not just a social media trend, it stands for point of view, and it's about choosing the right lens to share a story. We're going to dive deep, so don't wash away. This is part 3 in a 3-part series on point of view. Last time we looked at second person, which is all about being a puppet.
And hello out there in TV land.
We've been using a chart to keep track of pronouns, who the author is, and the advantages of each version. Let's start with the basics. It's all about the narrator being outside the story, observing the characters from afar. Third person is easier to transition between scenes and time. Furthermore, the narrator refers to characters by their names, or third person pronouns like he, she, they, or it. For example, Molly was a mischievous girl, always getting in trouble.
Molly, you're in big trouble. Go to your room.
Her mom finally said.
Ugh, fine.
Molly yelled back. She stomped off to her room. She didn't really mind being stuck in there anyways. Besides, she had everything she needed to keep herself entertained. Molly, always up to something. Third person is a bit more complicated than the pronouns. It has 3 flavors: omniscient, limited, and objective. First up is third person omniscient. Before we go any further, you have to know what omniscient means. Any guesses? A big clue is Santa Claus. He's omniscient, like when you hear it sung,
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Anyone else find that song a little creepy? Anyways, omni means all. And when you're omniscient, you know everything.
How do you know what Scrooge is doing? We're down here and he's up there.
I keep telling you, storytellers are omniscient. I know everything.
So in this perspective, the author knows all. Take a look at this example. Anna was thrilled as she opened her gift, believing that Jake had chosen it just for her. Meanwhile, Jake was anxious, wondering if Anna would notice it was actually a last-minute gift he borrowed from his sister. Yeah, not good. In third person omniscient, the narrator lets us into both Anna's and Jake's minds. We know that Anna was thrilled, and also what she believed. Those are internal insights. We also know that Jake was anxious and what he was wondering. And this leads us to some advantages. The reader gets the whole picture. The writer can show the inner thoughts of multiple characters, giving us a comprehensive view and understanding of the story. Since the narrator is all-knowing, he or she can comment on the story, give background information, or even philosophize about the themes, characters, and events. But let's say as an author, you don't want too much power.
Phenomenal cosmic powers!
Itty bitty living space.
In that case, you move to limited. Here, the narrator sticks closely to one character's thoughts and experiences. You can still describe other characters' actions as an outsider, but you limit your ability on whose mind can be read. It's like putting a tinfoil hat on the other characters. The advantage of writing in a limited capacity is that you get the intimacy of first person while being more flexible with your storytelling. With limited, there's a degree of personal interaction between the character and the author, but they are not the same person, so there is some distance between the two. Limited strikes a balance between knowledge and mystery, like the ability to use dramatic irony. But that's for a discussion over here. Keeping the motives of other characters a mystery can be quite powerful. For example, your characters are sitting on the couch when one thinks,
Man, I could go for some Taco Bell right now. I wonder what they think.
With limited perspective, you don't know what the other characters are thinking, or if they're even interested.
Maybe?
We can make inferences on actions and dialogue, but we can't know for sure unless a character vocalizes it. But let's contrast that same scene with an omniscient perspective and see how it turns out.
I should get my nails done. I'm gonna beat up my brother for what he did to me.
That escalated quickly. So how do you choose between the two? Well, let me give you a word of caution with Omniscient. You should be aware of head hopping. This is when you jump from one head to the next and reveal their inner dialogue all in the same scene. Like in the skit we just saw. It might work for a video, but on paper, it can be quite jarring if done incorrectly. This makes Omniscient POV an advanced writing technique. That's why Third Person Limited is the more popular choice when it comes to modern literature. Our final POV is Third Objective. This one's like a documentary, only capturing what is seen or heard. The author acts as a reporter of the situation, remaining neutral and without bias. The author cannot reveal any inner thoughts or feelings, because no minds can be read, ever. News articles would be an example of this, and should be written objectively. Emphasis on should. And in school, you might have come across this if you ever got in trouble and had an incident report written up about you. At 10:15 a.m., Alex Cooper jumped up on his desk and abruptly shouted, "This class is stupid," and threw a paper airplane. Students laughed. Mrs. Taylor asked Alex to sit down, but he replied, "Make me." He crossed his arms. Mrs. Taylor called for assistance at 10:20 a.m. Alex danced on his desk until an administrator escorted him out. Mrs. Taylor's referral focused on observable actions, dialogue, and sequence of events, avoiding any mention of her own frustrations or Alex's possible motives. An advantage of using this perspective is that the reader receives an unbiased and factual account of the situation. If bias isn't a word you're familiar with, then you should probably take note. It's an opinion or attitude for or against something that stems from our emotions. This type of storytelling is the least used of third person and is probably best suited for short stories. That's it for this 3-part series on point of view. Feel free to check out this other video comparing POV with character perspectives. And don't forget to like, share, and ring that bell. See you next time.